5 days ago, Typhoon Yolanda devastated the central Philippines. As a Category 5 super typhoon, this was reportedly the strongest storm ever to make landfall anywhere in recorded history, sweeping away almost everything in its path. Nearly 10 million people were impacted by this super typhoon, and tens of thousands of homes were destroyed. 80 to 90% of the homes in Ormoc City, the second largest city in the Leyte province, are gone. The stories of loss are shocking and heartbreaking. We don't yet know the full extent of the devastation that this typhoon has brought to the Philippines. Local authorities estimate as many as 10,000 people may be dead in the Leyte province alone, one of the hardest hit regions. The State Department has said roughly 3,000 Americans were impacted when the storm hit. Our embassy in Manila is coordinating with U.S. agencies to locate these Americans and to bring them home. The U.S. and the Philippines share a special bond, rooted in strong cultural and historical ties between our two countries. In Hawaii, where more than 197,000 Filipinos have made their home, we know this bond well. Our Filipino community has been a part of the islands for more than 100 years, and many at home maintain close relationships with family and friends in the Philippines. My deepest condolences go to those who have lost family and friends in this tragedy. Although the storm is over, our work has just begun. Millions of survivors are without clean drinking water, food, shelter, or power. Rescue workers are attempting to reach isolated coastal communities, but debris and downed power lines are blocking road access. The United States government is helping the Philippines to recover. We have provided $20 million in humanitarian aid and deployed a disaster assistance response team to support the Philippine government. These experts will help to assess the extent of the damage and determine what resources remain to be added. The United States Aid Office of the U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance has shipped relief supplies, including shelter materials and hygienic supplies, to help around 10,000 families. We are partnering with the United Nations World Food Program to provide $10 million in emergency food assistance because close to 2.5 million people will need food assistance over the next 6 months. This aid will help to airlift 55 metric tons in emergency food to feed more than 20,000 children and 15,000 adults, providing immediate relief for the next 4 to 5 days. And it will bring more than 1,000 metric tons of rice to feed 60,000 people for a month. U.S. Marines are on the ground. Our military is helping to airlift relief supplies, conduct aerial damage assessments, and coordinate search and rescue operations. U.S. Pacific Command has forces in Manila to help deliver food and water to the impacted areas. And the George Washington Carrier Strike Group and its 5,000 sailors are expected in the area soon to provide humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. For those still searching for displaced or missing loved ones, I urge you to contact the Philippine National Red Cross or the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council Operations Center. Google has also launched the Typhoon Yolanda Person Finder. Americans can also visit CNN's iReport website to upload photos and information about people you may be looking for. The challenge before the Filipino people is great, but the Philippines is a resilient nation and a true American ally, and they need our help. Please donate. I'm proud of our local organizations in Hawaii collecting donations to help survivors and the families of victims. The Philippine Consulate in Honolulu, Filipino Chamber of Commerce, Filipino Community Center, Congress of Visayan Organizations, and Kokua Philippines have all stepped up in this time of tremendous need. A full list of organizations is available on my website, schatz.senate.gov. You can also text AID to 80108 to give a $10 donation to the MGive Philippines Typhoon Disaster Relief Fund. Again, you can text AID to 80108 if you'd like to give $10 to the relief efforts. I want to especially recognize and thank all of the women and men of the United States Embassy in Manila, USAID Mission in Manila, the State Department, USAID here in the District of Columbia, and the United States Pacific Command for their great efforts in coordinating our ongoing response. Today, I introduced a resolution expressing the support of the United States Senate for the victims of the typhoon, along with several of my colleagues. I thank Senators Menendez, Durbin, Cardin, Rubio, Hirono, Tom Udall, Boxer, and Begich for co-sponsoring this resolution. I ask unanimous consent that the text of the resolution be included for the record.
Without objection.
As the Philippines begin to recover from this tragedy, I ask that we all pledge together to work with them. And when they rebuild their communities, rest assured they will emerge stronger than ever.